everyone to Politically High Tech. This is going to be episode 184. Yeah, it's going to be a tech kind of episode. And trust me, I am not tired of talking about AI. Believe me, we going to be on this for a long, long time. This is a meta trend, people. If you think this is going to be like 90s one-hit wonders, oh, you're sadly mistaken. Go smoke pot if you want to imagine that. You do you, but AI is going to be around for a long time and it's learning at an unprecedented rate. The average human mind just cannot comprehend it. Sometimes I can't comprehend it. But before I drag you down the mud or drag you to a rabbit hole, I have a guest here who's going to introduce a product. It's a sport. It's an AI using predictive analysis, I believe, just for this is give you more informed decision about sports betting. It's called Leans.ai. And I'm gonna have my guest Steven Westfeld. I'll give that. Just feel free to correct me and chime in if I misrepresent you anyway.
No, you're good. Rock and roll. Thanks for having me on. So my name is Steve, and I work for a company called Leans.ai, and we basically do AI sports predictions. So we've created an algorithm that we have named Remy, and Remy looks at massive amounts of data from all different types of facets and analyzes basically how teams are likely to perform in sports games and then compares that data and those probabilities against where Vegas has the current betting line set at, and then releases three, four, five, six of those a day to people who subscribe to the website. And so it's just more data. I feel like data is super powerful in general, and it's more data for people to incorporate into their own strategies, whether it's betting or fantasy football or things of that nature, and just become more informed about what AI has to say about these sports games.
Yeah, and when I was reading through the website, it even includes college games, particularly football and basketball. So yep, don't worry, college people, you are not excluded in this AI, this piece of great technology. Yeah, I mean, what inspired you just to create this predictive AI? I mean, AI is used for so many things. I mean, arts and yeah, even for transcripts, what have you. What inspires to make it to a more like a metadata, if you will, just for people just to make the informed decisions when they bet or do fantasy football.
Yeah. The primary reason was the industry of sports handicapping is people who just make picks on games or make predictions on games, and I was really screwed over by another sports handicapper who just made these crazy claims about how good they were, and I bought into kind of their initial package and thought that I'd try it out and see if there really was something to it. And a few months in, I started winning and I was doing really well, and they kind of put the screws to me, and they're like, man, we've got this top end package. It's many tens of thousands of dollars, but it wins even more than the entry level package. And I had looked at all the data that I had, and I was like, well, the first package is winning and I've recovered my investment already. So let's do this. So I bought into this really high end package, and it ended up being total crap. And it didn't perform even in the same universe as well as what they were claiming it did. And so I figured out, I was like, I got to get my money back because I'm not going to get it back from winning from these guys' picks. And so and along the way I was like, I can do this better than them. Like I can create an algorithm that predicts games better than what they're doing. This is a joke. So I started studying. I've got a background in engineering, so I started really studying sports analytics and sports science and data analytics, predictive analytics, and boiled all of that together into this AI algorithm that we've now been growing and grooming for a couple years. And it is shocking sometimes to see how good it is. It's certainly not perfect, but I always tell people that if we're losing 45% of the time, we are doing fantastic. And that sounds a little bit scary, but all of the picks that we're making are against the spread, or they're against over under lines. And so you just have to cover 2.4% of juice, or the cut that a sports book is taking on each of these games, and anything above that is going to be profit with this type of a strategy. And you look at Vegas. Vegas was built on 1 to 2% or 1 to 3% edge in these little games, and you play it out again and again and again and again, and Vegas has an empire. And so right now we're hovering between 3 and 5% profit above, like if you were to take the juice out of these picks. So between 55 and 57% against the spread is kind of where the algorithm has been hovering lately. And it's machine learning too. So it's designed to learn from itself and learn from trends and patterns and get better over time. So once I got into building this algorithm, I was blacklisted by 3 sports books from winning too much. They looked at my account, and they looked at my profit margin over time, and they banned me. They didn't ban me, that's not the right word, but they limited the amount I could bet on a game. So it started off at thousands of dollars, and then it went down to like $500, and then $100, and then $50, and then $10, and then like $1. And it's not worth my time to be betting $1 on a game. And so once I started getting blacklisted from sports books, I was like, man, this thing works, and there's got to be a market to sell this, where people can also benefit from this data as well. So we started Leans AI, and that's what got us to where we are today.
It sounds like to me, correct me if I'm misrepresented, it sounds like we compete against Vegas eventually with this thinking
Yeah,
the house always wins. They've been, that's been the quote, the saying for a very, very long time. And you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's how they built their empire. People just keep betting, 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 tweaking it. If I'm gonna be nicely, avoid that R word, but what I'm talking about. The house always wins kind of thing. Yeah, so that's great. Yeah, and I'm sure with predictive AI, it's gonna be more spot on compared to a human being. Human being got their peak and they lose their touch. There's
yep,
sometimes, just like you said, there's a human bias or even negative influence that they give you rigged picks that they know it's garbage, but they advertise
yeah.
like they are. Oh no, you could never go wrong with these. Yeah,
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 for sure. I mean, one of the beauties of what we have is most of the sports handicapping market is all human based handicappers. So if you type in like AI sports picks or AI sports predictions, we're going to be one of the top 1 or 2 that pops up on Google, because the market segment is just smaller, and we're dominating it, and we're competing against all these human handicappers. And what we've seen is that AI is able to largely take the bias out of these predictions. So humans are always going to be biased in a plethora of flavors and different ways. And I mean, even their own memory of making a prediction on a game and then trying to think back of like, oh, the last time I did this happened, or the last time I did that happened. Even your own memory is fallible and biased, and team bias can go into there, and betting on a team you like or a team you don't like. All that plays into bias, and it's largely why human handicappers are not as good, or from what we've seen, are not as good as this AI type of algorithm, where it's largely bias free. It's not omniscient, so it doesn't know everything, but from what it does know, it seems to be better than the humans that we're competing against.
yeah. No, yeah, that definitely. I mean, I think the only thing I'm gonna add about AI, if it's biased, is because the human really insisted in injecting the bias into the AI, but eventually the AI
Yep.
is gonna outlearn and even just override that. It is incredible stuff. But yeah, to your point, I like that you said that it is not perfect. Some people seem to think it is. I said, no, 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 no. It's a great tool, but it's getting sued right now by the New York Times, and I have to repeat
Yep.
that because it's not that savvy when it comes to law and even academic citations. Those are the
Yeah, so that's actually a fascinating discussion. Is the whole copyright infringement piece of it, and that's another area that we feel fit into a great niche, because you can't legally copyright a number, or you can't copyright a series of numbers. You can only copyright words and photos and creative type and expressions. And we are looking at a pure data algorithm. So every single input we have is 100% numbers, which are not copyrightable. You can't copyright a fact or a statistic or things like that. And so I think you'll actually see a trend. The New York Times case is going to be really interesting for the implications on AI. But you could see a trend more towards pure number-based AI algorithms, which is what we're looking at, which steers clear of that whole copyright infringement and because of the fair use laws, and positions us in a really nice place.
So it sounds like to me, if they were to sue you, these more established, just hypothetically speaking, well, these more established human handicap sports better just sue you out of intimidation because they're taking our profits away. Business sometimes business use lawsuits not for legitimate reasons. They use it as a scare tactic some of them, especially when they're getting screwed over. And I've seen it over and over and over again. Well, God forbid that happens to you. But it's logically it can't be sued, but people don't always use lawsuits for logic. Usually
Yeah,
logical and fear tactic. That's another thing I just wanted to imply.
yeah, we have spent many thousands of dollars with our lawyers and our legal team positioning our business in a place where we feel comfortable with our standing legally. We feel really comfortable with what we're doing and with our terms of use. And at the end of the day, we're trying to just make a predictive algorithm that looks at human behavior that's defined to a court or a field and a time, a game time, and then like a set of rules, and just make predictions on that and come up with a win probability and give that to our clients. And we're not trying to reinvent the whole world here. It's a very simple product. It's a very simple outcome. And I feel really good about where we're at right now.
Yep, you already unintentionally answered one of my questions, which is a good thing. What are some benefits of machine learning predictive analytics? Unless you want to add more to it, but you already touched that. How does
Yeah,
it?
the bias free piece is big. I think another benefit that we've seen is non-intuitive pieces. So it's fascinating. We will sometimes check to see what other sports handicappers are saying about a game, just for entertainment, just to see what they're saying. And a lot of times you'll have dozens and dozens of sport handicappers who are all coming in on one team, and we're like, man, our algorithm does not say that. Our algorithm says the other team is gonna win this game or cover this spread. And so we send that out to our subscribers, and then sure enough, our algorithm was right, and all of these, this collection of sports handicappers was wrong. And everyone thought it would go the other way. So it can generate these non-intuitive results that maybe don't make sense, or as a human, the way human logics wouldn't come to that type of conclusion. But so far it's been right more often than it's been wrong.
Yep. Desperate spiritual plugin. Have faith in something doesn't make sense, humans. There you go. Have faith in the AI. Oh, I'm sure the church community is just gonna attack me for that one. There you go. That's the only spirituality plugin I'm doing. Other than that, it's done. The end. Yeah, because I mean, we humans. I mean, we do have the ability to challenge our biases, but let's just be real. Most of them are not. They got to stay vested interest. And let me just use one sports team. If I don't know how sport handicappers work, so feel free to correct my ignorance. I won't be surprised if there's some that are favoring the Yankees. Yeah, let me use the Yankees. Got a free sweet experience with the Yankees. Awesome experience, by the way. The Yankees kind of play shit. That's a whole different story. But I digress. Let's just say there are a couple of sport handicappers that strongly favor the Yankees. They say, oh, this team is going to lose. This team is going to lose, even though the stats and past historical records, for lack of a better word, have shown that they have a very good chance of beating the Yankees. But the sport handicappers just insist otherwise.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It just lines up what the humans think versus what the machines think. Back to the point you made of having faith in AI, it is scary because you play with Chat GPT long enough and it pukes out complete freaking garbage. So some of the answers it pukes out are really good, and some of the answers are absolute. Like, it's like, how could you even have generated this from like this is not written anywhere on the internet. It's not true at all. It's not even close to true, but that's what it came out with. And so I think it will get better over time. But at the end of the day, it's a machine that's trained by humans, and it is not omniscient. It does not know everything, and it can make some logical connections that humans can't make just by the sheer amount of data that it can crunch. But at the same time, it does not have the intuitive skills that humans have yet. And so there are some connections that humans can make that AI cannot make yet. And so at the end of the day, you said it perfectly. It's a tool. It's just another tool. It's another way to incorporate, in our case, probabilities into when someone's looking at a game, and just enhance. I feel like at the end of the day, data is super powerful. Just in general, data is one of the most powerful mediums that we have. And so the more data, usually the better.
Especially if it's story told and applied and make great decisions out of it. Because we can have a lot of data and just let's just now I'm gonna dunk on the AI. Now I'm gonna betray it. It comes up with nonsensical stuff. I mean, I was doing political analysis. I caught three contradictions in statements. Like, can you clarify this? And it eventually did, but I had to prompt it, ask it differently. So maybe I'm being too vague with it. Okay, I had to be concise and clear. AI is not foolproof, and we still need to use our brain. People don't outsource our brain power to the AI. That is dangerously stupid. I'm not gonna lecture for too long, but you get my drift. You still need to be smart. And this is just referring to another guest that I had. I had a great AI discussion with. I know it was gonna be good, but it was freaking awesome that you still need to be smart to know how to use AI. You can't just, I don't know, ask AI just to wake me up or something. Eventually you'll get there. But I hope it doesn't get to that point as super dependency. I think that's why I started becoming very fearful and joined the Elon Musk in the hardcore Christian camp. At that point, if it starts doing stuff like that, also come on, just lift a finger and get up. No, 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 no. That's too much for me. Look, it's great to generate art. It's great to do all that, but okay, I'm already derailing. Let's go back to the whole sports betting thing. That's what your particular AI focuses on. What I mean by having faith in AI is just more on the sports betting thing. I am not talking about ChatGPT because that sometimes that could be the Web 3 Wild Wild West. Sometimes,
Yeah, no joke. No joke.
yeah. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. I'm a cautious optimist. I'm just that's a kid.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, but you gotta be so people don't just type how to spell this or I don't know how to spell cat or something. There's something clearly wrong with you. You need help with that. That's beyond ChatGPT. Right there. That's you need a specialist. And I'm trying to be nice. I'm normally a lot more spicier than that. All right, I think that's my New York Vice is trying to come and trying to contain it. So, question I have, and I'm gonna just link it to politics. Will this ever expand to political betting? Because I think Vegas does political betting. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there's a few other markets too. Like predicted is a big one for political betting. I think that one's based out of Australia, and it's slightly different, but because they cap the amount that you can place on any one position, I believe. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's all the same in a sense. Whether you're sports betting or whether you're investing in the stock market or whether you're investing or you're betting on politics, it's all the same. Like you're all trying to predict what this thing is going to do at some point in the future and make decisions based on that. And then there's people predicting the opposite, and then their money's coming in on the other side, and Vegas or whoever's the bookmaker is taking a little bit of cut on each side to stay in business. And I lump it all the same. I mean, I think people often look at the stock market and they think this is more safe than maybe sports betting, and arguably it is, but it's the same thing. It's the same stinking thing, predicting what a stock's going to do based on information and predicting how a team's going to perform based on information. It's exactly the same thing. It's just a different flavor. And so we've tried to create a tool very similar to what would be a stock picker or a stock analysis tool that people would be using for investment strategies. We don't tell anyone how to invest or how to wager with the data we have. We just kick it out to them and say, here it is. But it's largely the same. And when it comes to politics, At the end of the day, what we're trying to do with sports and what people are trying to do with politics is they're trying to predict human behavior. They're trying to predict how people are going to perform. So in our sense, it's athletes. In politics, it's politicians. And they're also trying to predict how other people think they're going to perform. So in our sense, it's other sports bettors, and in politics, it's the electorate, or how the electorate might or might not vote one way or the other. So it's very, very similar. And what we found, at least in the sports world, is that human behavior is incredibly repeatable. So you put two teams onto the same court with the same rules and the same officials to enforce those rules, and then you put a time limit on it, and then you play that out thousands and thousands of times every year, and it's unbelievable how repeatable patterns start to come kind of within those confines. Politics is largely the same. You're putting an electorate out there, with candidates coming in. The parties are typically the same. The funding mechanisms are largely the same. Trends on incumbents versus not, and all of that stuff tends to be more repeatable than not. And so I think there's a ton of parallels between the two.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nah. Yeah, my thing is, I wonder if you want to expand, get into politics and all of that.
So
That's an idea. Just an idea.
yeah, we get a lot of requests for expansion. That the primary ones we get are player props. So looking at how players perform, and we haven't done that just because one person is more variable than a team, or a team can average out to something that's more repeatable than a single player performance. We also get a lot of requests for soccer just because of the global presence. And then we got one request for predicting cockfighting matches in Philadelphia and from a video stream. And we're like, we do not have a cockfighting algorithm ready to go yet or ever. So,
Well, you definitely have to
but
take the cock's repetitive behavior. What constitutes a great cockfighting? I don't support it. Just say it's illegal in some states. I'm not going to get in trouble for
yeah,
that, but
yeah,
we're
I'm
definitely
gonna
not
stay away
endorsing
from
that.
that.
But we're definitely not endorsing that. That's all
No.
I'm gonna say. But you did get requests. Some requests are weird as hell. Let's just be
It's
quite.
no joke. No joke. But I agree. I think politics is. I would love to get there. We're probably a few years away, just because we're trying to really make the sports well. But it's largely the same. So hopefully we will head that direction someday.
Yep, and yep. I mean, me and I have zero influence, even zero authority on that, but just a little idea because I do see some I point at similarities and some parallels to these things. I mean the only thing I'm going to say is different with and maybe sports to some extent is they got polls and polls is yeah computer but with human responses. And let's be clear, the polls have been more off than normal. That's the only oddity that's been going on because they don't record a certain political party and not even political party, a certain group of that political party. This is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna give you one hint. The former president's MAGA wing. Yeah, I'm just gonna say for you. I'm gonna spoil the answer. The polls have done such a terrible job capturing that, but that's more of the outlier than the Democrats, even the normal Republicans. It does good with that. But when it comes to like the extremists of both sides of the odd, that's when polls do a very bad job. Maybe it's not designed to do that.
Yeah, well, one of the things that so perfect parallel to what we're doing, in politics, you're talking about just kind of new fragments or new wrenches, that are thrown into how things were previously seen. We've seen the same thing in sports with most recently the pitch clock in baseball really threw off our algorithm for about a month last April. And it took a full like month or 5 weeks to figure out how the game was different because of all of the little nuancy changes that the pitch clock threw in. And then the same thing with NBA this year with the in-season tournament. All of a sudden in November, you have games on 2 nights a week that actually matter and teams actually want to win and actually play defense. And that's totally different than years in the past. And so it took a while for us or for the algorithm to kind of figure out these new patterns. And so, in the politics world, at some point, you can kind of figure it out and maybe dial the polls back in, but then something else pops up and you've got a new a new kind of twist on things, and it's back to unreliable.
And yeah, and sadly, the legal aspects is throwing. I won't be surprised if the AI is predicting this 2024 presidential election. I'm sure it's gonna be thrown off with something, especially with being banned in certain ballots. You know who that is? Who's made that very, very clear. Right? Two states this guy got it, and I'm sure that's gonna throw AI off for a loop, at least for a little while, until either the Supreme Court reinstates him back, which they're working on that, by the way. I just saw that breaking news, or it's just gonna be persistent. It's just gonna stay there, and I'm sure the AI is gonna be thrown off if it's predicting this right now. I'm not saying definitely not your piece of AI, but I'm sure other AIs are going for I think the AI is this is gonna be one of the few that the AI is gonna get epically wrong, and I understand why. This is gonna be a chaotic election. No predictive behavior. Yeah, you could have it as a reference, but you're gonna have to expand and clear the fogs as you go because yeah, and I'm sure sports is slightly different. You probably have an outlier of a player that beat the odds that normal human beings can. I don't know, maybe that one player score 100 points in basketball, for example.
I I mean, last night, the Denver Nuggets were playing the Golden State Warriors, and with 6 minutes left in the fourth, there was a 99.6% chance of Golden State winning the game, according to ESPN. So Denver had a 0.04% chance of winning, and they battled all the way back from however many, I think it was 20 or 20 some points down, battled all the way back and hit a three at the buzzer to win. And so, statistically speaking, there was a 0.04% chance of them winning, but it happened. So, at the end of the day, you're exactly right. The crazy things happen, bizarre things happen, things that shouldn't happen, and it's one of the things that makes it so entertaining and so wild to stay tuned into.
Oh, I absolutely agree. That could definitely be applied. Rather you like the guy or not. I ain't saying it. Don't throw your verbal pitchforks at me. Just saying, rather you like the guy or not. He does give some entertainment. I say he's an entertaining president. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. And that's a very low weight on my grade, by the way. That's like 1% out of 100. He got that's it. But that's all. So let me do what I love to do, shameless plugins. People. We are talking about this leans.ai. I'm gonna put that in the link. Give it a shot. I'm sure if you want to take a break from politics, especially, this is the AI for you. I'll say this is the only reason it's going to relate because this is going to be your side thing. If you're tired of politics, you want to cool off and get into the sports, shift your mode of dominant thinking. Here it is. Leans.ai. And you can check it out. It does various sports. There's college and basketball, football, the NFL, the NHL, that's hockey for those of you that don't get it. NBA, that's basketball, plain English, and LMB, that's baseball. And I'm sure it's going to expand. I'm gonna easily answer for that as TBD, TBA.
There you go. And one thing to add on, so we do offer a 30-day free trial, so people could come on and try it free for 30 days, see how it does, check it out, and decide if it's something they want to continue with after that.
Oh, you got 1 month free. What you got to lose? Come on, 1 month. Come on. Nope. All righty then. Is there anything else you want to add before I wrap this up?
I really appreciate you having me on. I think it's an exciting time to be alive. I think there's just so much is changing so fast that it's a little bit scary, but there's also some really cool things. I'm really excited for some of the medicine things that AI can do of just trends and patterns and correlations that are non-intuitive to doctors. Even cancer treatments. There are some fascinating things happening in AI that are really exciting, and so it's there are good things and bad things with it. I think everyone has their own opinions, but at the end of the day, there are some really cool things coming out of it, and I think it's a fun time to be alive.
Yeah, no, I came to that conclusion, I would say 2 years ago, better late than never. With AI, all the stuff that's going on. And but people, just give things a chance. Give things a chance. Especially the older audience, give it a chance. And if you can't do it, get your more technologically adept younger family members or friends to do that. Get involved. This could be potentially money making opportunity. There's a machine doing it, not these humans are very biased and drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm going to use the Mets example that, they're going to say, oh, the Mets are going to win. Mets are going to win. You'll need to know baseball to know what's going to happen. Not out of 10 times they're going to lose and going to lose badly. And I might
What
just,
the Mets what the Mets are going to do is they're going to pay a fortune for people to go play for other teams and win. That's what they're going to do.
yeah, you see, he was a Met player. Yeah, yeah. You see, yeah. You see, the AI is not capable of that kind of conniving. But humans are. the
Yeah, no
creative
joke.
part. That's the creative part. Uh,
No joke.
are creative. So, all righty then. So if you enjoy this podcast, give a like, comment, subscribe, share with someone you think is going to enjoy it. And for whenever you're listening to this, you have a blessed day, afternoon, or night.